Now, the supporters of Kelly Sloan have said to me that it's a matter of timing, but the election is March 2027. So even if she took on the leadership now, I mean, what is that? That's a year and, 4 months or 5 months or something. For her to raise her profile across, she'd already have a higher profile than Speakman. That's not hard. So it's not that far out, really. I think there might be something. Everyone's kind of saying she's not going to do it. I think she might this week. I reckon she might.
Well, I hope she does. I hope she does. Look, as I've said, I admire Chris Minns. I think he's a good premier.
Me too.
But to have a strong government, we've got to have a strong opposition.
Yeah.
And we've got a weak opposition under Mark Speakman at the moment, and that's got to change.
I mean, at least he's a good premier, because in what we have in Canberra is a shocking government and a weak opposition. It's the absolute worst of both worlds.
I heard your comments earlier, and I've read the stuff in the Australian today about Andrew Hastie.
Yes.
And the possibility that he may do some sort of deal with Angus Taylor. Now, I like Angus Taylor as well, but he's not prime ministerial.
You think Hastie is?
Look, he's got a disadvantage, as Kim Beazley found out. He lives in Western Australia. But we're a far different country than we were when Kim was, the opposition leader based in Western Australia. Communication's much different, things are much different. And Hastie's a distinguished ex-serviceman, an officer in the army. He's from the right, and he'll take the fight. He'll take the fight to Penny Wong, to Tony Burke, and most importantly to Albo. He'll get up on the floor of Parliament and you watch him mix it with them if he's the leader. Now, I just don't think that Angus has the same, and this is an old expression, a rugby league expression, the same sort of mongrel in him that's required to be the leader when you're fighting. I mean, sometimes when you fight in politics, you've got to get down and get dirty. And I said a couple of times to Tony Abbott when he was copping it on the chin, I said, you've got to get down and mix it with him, Tony. You've got to get a bit dirty. When you're wrestling with pigs, you're going to get a bit of mud on you. And that's what you've got to do. And you need someone like Hastie, who's, his policies won't, entice everyone across the line.
Yeah.
But at least there are policies there that are separate to the policies of the Labor government. And I just think if we've seen what they've done in Victoria, if we see what they do in New South Wales, and I think,
turning to the next generation, you mean?
It's a generational change, with no disrespect to Susan Lee, but she's got 24% of the primary vote.
Yeah.
I mean, Humphrey B. Bear would have 30%.
Yes.
I mean, fair dinkum.
Miss Humphrey B. Bear was my favourite when I was 2 years old.
My children, of course, went with the Wiggles. Humphrey B. for our people my age will remember Humphrey particularly. You love Humphrey?
He was literally my hero. I've got all these photographs meeting him at shopping centres.
Look, I don't want to spoil the party, but I was at Channel 9 one day when Humphrey took his head off.
Don't ruin it for me.
I'm sorry. It was most disconcerting for me as well to see Humphrey, his first name was Jim, but he was a good style of a bloke.
Yeah.
But he wasn't as good as Humphrey.
Very quickly before we go,
sure.
A change in the National Party as well in New South Wales today. Gurmesh Singh was elected unopposed. Now, Ray, you were mates with the former national leaders, former national leader Dougal Saunders. Who was only there a couple of years. 3 years. But look, Dougal worked with me in the year 2000. He was a radio presenter who went to 2DU at Dubbo and worked out there. And if he says, because I know him to be a truthful fella, if he says that he's got some problems at home, that he needs to sort out more time, when you're the national leader and Gurmesh is about to find this out, you don't spend your time in Coffs Harbour or Dubbo, you're all over the place. You're rarely home. And, that can put certain pressures on anyone's life, let alone a man married with children. So Gurmesh Singh is a refreshing bloke. When I was on radio, he'd ring quite often because I used to broadcast into Coffs Harbour. Yeah. And he was one of those blokes who'd pick up the phone and engage with me and have a chat about different things, different things happening in his town, whether it's law and order or bypass that's happening in Coffs Harbour and things like that. And I watched Andrew Bolt, where he said, look, I keep being called the Indian Australian, but my forebears got here in 1894. I think I'm entitled, 3 or 4 generations on to be called an Australian, and that's what he is. Absolutely. He's obviously proud of what his forebears have been able to achieve since they came here, but like many people, whether they came from India, Greece, Malta, Italy or anywhere else, the people I know, they're firstly Australians who have great affection for those people who came here to start a new life. Well said, Ray. So great to have you here. I love the segments. Tuesday this week, not Monday. Yeah, I'll be back next Monday. Okay, I'll see you, see you Monday. Thank you so much. All the best. Thanks, Sharri.